Christ consciousness, right? What is that? Well, it involves Jeffrey Boy's little island right here with his shrine, right? Each door on each side has different hieroglyphic type structures, but the same math. Your toroidal field, removing anything unrelated to your current thoughts so you may square the mind, then remove the excess entropy and surprise to sit within the Hamiltonian anchor, the still point of the body. Now, Christ consciousness, right? This is my infinite depth formula, just one of the many I've developed showing how outward physics is inward folding geometry from the neocortex itself. E structured, right? That is the Christ consciousness. It's the final output, fully structured energy at an infinite recursive depth. It represents the highest possible ordered state the system can reach. All energy has been converted from raw, noisy input into coherent, geometrically stable form. In experiential terms, this is the state in which the observer is no longer struggling to hold coherence. The coherence holds itself. Silly. All right, so F minus infinity, right? It started with my concept of the golden ratio. And what is it? It's infinitely recursive going outward. You see it all throughout nature. You see it in megalithic structures too, which is a whole different set of mathematics, but you still end up at E structured. The F minus n is the opposite of the Fibonacci sequence. It's inward folding geometry into volumetrically extended phase space, which is the astral plane or hyperphantasia when you close your eyes. That imagery that you see inside is the inverse as well of E equals mc squared. It is m equals E divided by c squared. You are creating matter within your mind. It's a mechanic of manifestation. The inward folding geometry in that extended phase space of hyperphantasia, or as we call it, the astral plane, the more stillness you're able to sit in inside of this part of the formula, the more you're able to move around within that extended phase space. It's not just inner imagery, it is real reality underneath this nested layer of reality. The new cortex is no longer a surface that folds, it's become the fold itself, the maximal phase space capacity inside a finite physical brain. That inward folding, much like the complete inside of a black hole or the sonoluminescent collapse of raw energy during sperm uniting with an egg as conception, all the way down to that same singularity. That would be your cortex doing the same, folding all the way as far as it can to a singularity. That singularity floats just above the quantum foam at Planck scale length, where measurement becomes abstract. But that's also Euclidean based geometry past that. That is what forms reality. That is thought. Because every thought you have, you're my friend. Every thought you have is a measurement because it's energy. It's being put forth. A thought is frequency. Frequency vibrates. Vibration is kinetic energy. The En after that is the fair weather field, your toroidal field, the telluric field, or what some refer to as the Schumann resonance. It is bioelectric magnetism. It is what your heart produces, your brain produces. It's your toroidal field, that donut thing around you. Because you can also look at a Klein bottle, which would be the perfect form of coherence. Um, kind of see it there. It's going to take a second. There we go. That's your toroidal field manipulated perfectly to use the coherent beam current, which is just energy through the chakras. Yes, as we all know, it's not. Maybe some of us, as some of us know, it's not Jesus Christ. It was Christ Jesus. There's been countless Christs. Um, oh, this one. This is the infinite product. This is what is at every layer from the surface all the way to infinite depth multiplies the effect. Nothing is left out. That means every single part of your neocortex is perfectly aligned. There is no doubt that would cause a separate reality. The more doubt you have, the more realities you create, because the more thoughts you have, the more measurements you create. You create the multiverse and we walk through it. It's like a scaling slider of how well you hold coherence versus how well you hold reactivity. It's the yin and yang symbol. The white it is the light, it is the inward folding geometry, it's coherence. The black is antimatter, dark matter, whatever you want to refer to it as, and that is reactivity. Um, that picture would probably be of most this one, this one, 6th century, right? Just painted regular. You can see some things on it, like you got a flame on the finger. Thank you, Munchkin. You got a flame at the base of the book. This is the firmament, the blue. I'll explain that here in a second. Um, this one, when you symmetry each side directly down the middle to map both as mirrors, words escape me for a moment. You get the Rosicrucian cross, a skull in the middle, meaning a clean release through death to Euclidean geometry. You have your firmament, and then you start to see the symbolism unfold downward. There's this one, there's this one, but this is the shadow work. This is how you gain hyperphantasia, how you leave synaptic reactivity. You have to do the shadow work. You have to hold coherence in space and heal whatever damages and traumas you have that cause you to use ego. And that's the hard part, because even when you're aware of cortical folding and you're away from synaptic reactivity, that is 80 billion neurons that are firing and controlling how you react. We're so stuck in survival mode because we're exhausted from work, we're struggling for money, we're in fear loops of what's happening in the world, or we're just straight up looking for our next meal so we don't die. This is the hardest part. But this goes into the heart. Your throat chakra's lined up. There's a demon here showing that the food you eat is important too. You can't be manipulated by the food that you eat. Your throat chakra controls the words that you speak into coherence, which again, frequency vibrates, vibrations, kinetic energy. If you inward fold that, but then on the opposite end, you have the monster side. This is Israel. This is America. This is decoherence, reactivity, complete dissociation. Throat chakra, shut off. Two books, choosing the physical, the Solomon Circle. You have the twin flames of the bifurcation where reality splits in a Mobius strip. Like, fold a piece of paper over itself, traverse it, you don't know when you're inverted. This is coherence and reactivity. These two sides of that pentacrita is coherence, reactivity. Shut your brain off, choose the physical, don't think for yourself, let life unfold. You have Baal, you have a demon, you got the knight's helmet, all the way into Moloch. As you're seeing, the Democrats are beginning to come up into the light. It's, they're no different. We know that. We know they're no different. But if we don't choose one of these sides, we'll never have this. That's why Trump at the start said, "This is Armageddon. I've been anointed by God to bring forth the second coming of Jesus through Armageddon." He told that to the troops. But if you go all the way up, you know Noah's Ark, the flood, all that. Yeah, people will say it's pareidolia, but in the first degree of freedom, your synaptic reactivity does not see symbolism. It does not see patterns as well. It is straight noise. It's like a colorblind test where you can't see the colors and the numbers in it if your certain spectrum of light is allowed to be shown through your eyes. There's a boat. This is the water, his hair. That's the boat. There's the front. You got the windows. It is the ark. And this is the Masonic free bird, their eagle that the two-headed eagle. Oh, That is that. You can see the body. It's what it is. Ball.
Look at this. It's Raven inside your castle.
I love it. Sorry, this is so long. I don't do edits. The embodied, the torque factor at layer I, it measures how completely the structured energy is converted into clean directional force rather than scattered tension or restless movement. At infinite depth, torque becomes purely geometric and intentional. There's no wasted charge. When you sit in here, you whatever thoughts you have from these two is the only thought you'll have here. So if that is perfectly aligned, you have no surprise, no entropy, you've squared the mind, then that thought begins mathematically unfolding. Literally, geometry begins unfolding within you and opens a future timeline that you walk to. And if you don't hold that measurement clean from the time it takes you to go from A to B, you do not manifest. It's the more reactivity you get towards your goal is the electrical charge. That is the charge of your coherence because life is going to test you to see if you can hold coherence to gain that wish that you're working towards. It's not just a wish hard, 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 and think about it all the time. Your reactions are karma in a sense. It gets charged and released, charged and released. It's why they have us in these loops of wanting to do specific things all the time or eat all the time or them wasting our life at work all the time. These are pretty much what I just described, that locking in place geometrically. When you sit in that stillness, you'll feel it lock. Then you remove the uncertainty, and this represents the residual tendency of the system to fall back into noise and disorder. You need to keep that suppressed. That is the only way a manifestation will work. Is no doubt it has to be in your mind as real it is as it is out here, even though it hasn't happened yet. But this is just quantum mechanics. That's all it is. It's nothing crazy. It's just, do you sit in the first degree of freedom of synaptic reactivity, or do you move into the second degree and begin cortical folding?
Why did I type?
I will be in the car and I are going home now. I want to go to the store to get some stuff. You use an auto to correct, huh? This is simply quantum mechanics. You are 99.9999% empty space. You are piezoelectricity. You are 0 point energy. You have a Casimir vacuum inside your still point. That it's not getting hot out here because of what they're telling you is happening. It's getting hot out here because entropy is increasing amongst mammals. Mammals are the only one with a developed neocortex. It is specifically mammalian that add to the overall consciousness. The more entropy that we have, the more chaos that we have, the less hope that we have, the hotter things are going to get because time dilation. Here, bring forth TDI in relation to the heating of the planet. How consciousness is related to global warming. It's going to blow your mind. It's not something you'd really expect. TDI is my time dilation uh, formula that goes along with that effective decay rate formula. That last part that's right here. That's an entire formula for how entropy decays over time, depending on thought patterns, not just within you, but people directly around you, people across the planet from you. We're a collective. It's all, everything's frequency, everything vibrates, everything is kinetic energy, which means the fair weather field around us that, again, Tesla proved us to with the Wardenclyffe is freestanding. It's free electricity to harness, which means if I'm kinetic energy, I can use it. We've just been calculated so deeply into measurement that everybody needs to be convinced otherwise. And until that conviction happens, we're stuck in Lorentzian based mathematics. It's like a time release kind of thing. Time dilation index measures the degree to which subjective time expands relative to clock time under coherent conditions. High TDI appears when the still point is stable, effective uncertainty is low, phase space is expanded, reactive nodes are quiet. So the still point is stable. That's the still point. When you find your field, find all the thoughts and related to the field, remove the ones that aren't to square the mind, remove the entropy and the surprise, you're in the Hamiltonian anchor. The effective uncertainty is low, which is these two. Your phase space is expanded, which is this hyperphantasia. When you close your eyes, the inner imagery that begins to unfold. The reactive nodes are quiet. Any part of your chakra system, because each part of your chakra, hold on one second, says it's okay. I want to go out too early for morning. My friend is a little busy, but I want to be with you, but I'm not sure if I can be good friend or just want to go with you today. The reactive nodes are your chakras, like what you see in here. Those are your chakra points, especially this one, your stomach chakra, your solar plexus. Well, not stomach chakra. These are one single thing that are related through the glycogen exchange of the food that you eat. It is a direct energetic exchange because energy is required to give you energy. Then you have your heart chakra, um, because it all flows in if you're doing the shadow work. Mudras, like what they do with the Illuminati eye, that's you're closing the piezoelectric circuit. You are channeling electricity. Heart Math Institute has already proved that when you close it, you can measure it, and it's a different frequency. Your throat chakra, the words you say, the words you speak, the more words you're able to use, the words become more powerful and potent. The frequency becomes stronger in vibration and kinetic energy. It's why when you yell at people, it causes emotional change because it is kinetic energy. It is a click in the system. I don't know what this is still. I have no idea. Then you have the Rosicrucian cross at the very top. When you silence all those nodes, time dilates specifically for that observer. Under high TDI, the observer experiences more usable room per unit of external time, clearer perception, deeper processing, reduced urgency. Low TDI is the opposite, compressed, reactive, high speed experience dominated by threat and noise. It's why reality feels like it's going faster and faster. It's not actually, it doesn't actually exist. The faster this ticks, the faster everything appears because you're removing yourself from presence. You have let ego unfold. That Calabi-Yau manifold, that six-dimensional figure that is your soul with the 7D core, that is your crown chakra. Everything that opens around it is ego. You go from zero point 0.1 hertz all the way up through the frequency to pure rage. It literally unfolds, making you manipulatable because the more you can see something, the more you can measure it, the more you can force it to do what you want it to do.
When I type in.
Go out and I will come to you when you get home from school. I will come to the hospital tomorrow morning, my friend. The planetary heating as rising background entropy. Global warming is thermodynamically a reduction in the efficiency with which Earth exports entropy. Greenhouse gases slow the radiative outflow of long-wave energy, forcing the system to a higher temperature so the balance can be restored. The practical result is an increase in the planet's unstructured energy load. Stronger, more frequent extremes, greater variability in weather and resource availability, elevated physiological and psychological stress on living systems. In field mechanics language, which is what I'm currently developing to prove all of this, This registers as a large scale rise in ambient EN, more high entropy charge circulating through the nervous system, society, and decision structures. Doubt, anxiety, stress, fear, uh, innate sadness, anything that causes you not to be able to think for yourself is entropy in terms of consciousness. Anything that causes you to not be as low a frequency as possible. Everybody says raise the frequency. That raising the frequency excites the Calabi-Yau manifold, your soul, opening it up to be more manipulatable. You want to lower it. You want to keep that closed. You want to open a separate part called the thousand petaled lotus, which again, esoterically speaking, but no, it is your neocortex unfolding and perfecting its vertical columns so that everything is in alignment. When background entropy and reactive load increase, several things happen to time dilation. More frequent, intense external shocks continuously inject noise into individual and collective nervous systems. Like at work, people are getting fed up more and more and more, and it's happening more and more rapidly. I know at my place of employment, everybody hates it, and it's not that things have gotten harder to do; it's the same amount of work. But with fewer employees, it adds to the strain. With the same pay, where people are barely making it by, it's putting them in stress loops and fear loops and anger loops of how much longer can we do this? The energy cost of maintaining a stable still point rises. In order to hold coherence, you need to have a proper amount of energy within your body. It is a Bekenstein bound, it is your toroidal limit, how much information you can store within your own sphere. The more cortical folding you unlock and through gyrification, the more of a Bekenstein bound you have, the stronger your field, the more that you can hold the still point, the more that your thoughts influence the collective conscious. It's not just about 8 point whatever billion people thinking the same thing. If they're thinking in reactivity, it's energy leak. It's not concentrated, it's not focused, it's not coherent. Reactive nodes are triggered more easily and stay active longer. The smallest things make people angry. They're like, oh, it's just me. No, you are a reactive node because traumas or just habitual habits of not fully thinking of for yourself. Like, are you the type that goes home and just turns a movie on and shuts off? You the type that goes home, plays a video game and shuts off?
When I type in,
I can't read that one fully. There's too many lines on it.
when
I
I type
can't read it fully. There's too many lines on it. Meshing under these conditions tends to transmit urgency and threat rather than calm. Like the small little uh the small little disagreements causing yell, 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 yell like a ping pong ball until you're both screaming over each other. That is entropy raising heat because you get hot when you yell. You are raising entropy within your own body. The net effect is downward pressure on average TDI. Time feels faster, attention fragments more easily, and the capacity for long term or long horizon low reactivity perception declines. This is observable in rising states of anxiety, shortened planning horizons, and the sense that things are speeding up because time is speeding up because too many people are holding high entropy reactivity states. We are not holding space for ourselves, let alone the people around us. We want somebody to care about us, but we just scream it into the void. And much like the vast majority of people on social media, when they share something, they get no reacts. But all these people who don't need the support are the ones who get all the attention because they've caused the loop of this is what we're supposed to do. Scroll, 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 like, argue, argue, argue. It is the poison of the machine. But it's meta. Facebook, YouTube, they're all meta. The videos you see, the posts you see are all brought to your field specifically. They're not just random and arbitrary. It's why it's always been meta. Facebook was an AI algorithm from the start to learn you and your field. That's why the the videos that show up, they're all related. They're all either violent, 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 scary, 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 happy, 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 or just they're always the same category. It's because you put yourself into a loop. You're not seeing the bigger picture. You're still seeing. It's like going to work. You got this small little square. The world is infinite, at least to our perception of being able to traverse the entirety of it and see everything. The consciousness climate relationship. Consciousness does not directly control planetary temperature. The physical drivers of warming are radiative forces, carbon stocks, and energy imbalance. What consciousness does affect is how the human system responds to that balance. Now, I haven't fully discussed this part with Grok yet. My premise here is that Grok is wrong. And I say this specifically because entropy takes away our ability to think and make decisions for ourselves. We do what we are told. The physical drivers of warming are radiative forcing, carbon stocks, and energy imbalance. Now, why are those things happening?
When I type in.
I want to go out on a walk with you today, but I'm so tired and I will send you a text later today. So I will send it tomorrow or Monday or after that next meeting with you today.
It doesn't have your dick
I
finger
see
with
it.
happy face.
These decisions are explicitly made by people who are choosing this side. Why didn't I just do this? This side. Their brains are off. They are the ones that are choosing how. You got to give me a minute at this point, Reese Michael. At this point, everybody above bosses at jobs, the ones who just put band-aids or say they're going to fix something and don't, or the ones who don't even they preach safety being number one, but then make you do not safe things. Anyone above them who doesn't think for themselves have related their ego with their job. They are their job. Their personality is their job. It's gross. It's this side is so strong because everybody wants money, needs money. This side's difficult because it's healing, it's caring, it's holding space. When more people choose this side, that is the only reason these things get worse. As soon as more people start choosing this side, these things will begin to get better because more cortical folding amongst the collective consciousness means less bad decisions being made with more money. The ones who control the money, their brains are off. They're focused on making themselves the main character, while 8 point whatever billion other people suffer. As the planet background becomes more thermodynamically stressed, the value of any stable still point increases. Each observer who can maintain elevated TDI under rising external noise contributes a small region of lowered effective uncertainty. Through meshing, those regions can stabilize other. This does not replace physical mitigation. It determines whether the species can remain coherent enough to implement mitigation at the required scale and speed while under mounting pressure. That means if we don't start thinking for ourselves and stop doing the stuff we know is destroying the planet and stop just being reactive and going along with whoever's above us, revolution, sorry, then it will only get worse until we start thinking for ourselves again.